Hello everyone, my name is Anton, and this is my new vlog, where I prove to you and to myself that bikes are possible in the US. I myself come from a very different background. We moved here from Ukraine about 3 years ago, and while in my home city of Kiev, I could bike to the city center from my house without ever crossing the road. In here, the situation is a lot different. Unfortunately, the majority of my American audience lives in this highly suburban area where most of the traffic is very car-centric, and there are not very many options for other modes of transport, such as bikes. And in this video, I'm gonna take a pretty long trip. It should be around 8 miles to the Apex Nature Park. It's a very nice place, and I just want to go on a little adventure. And while going on this adventure, we're gonna go through all kinds of areas on our road and see how accessible they are with a bike like this. The majority of bikes you see riding on the road are usually road bikes. Thin tires, super light frames, and spandex all over the bodies. But in my case, this is an entry point mountain bike. I got it from Dick's Sporting Goods. It was on sale, and it's pretty much similar, maybe a step above Walmart bikes, which will also deliver about similar kind of performance but less durability. During this trip, I'll try to avoid road as much as possible to adhere to my rules and just to be safe overall, because there's many idiots out there who do not respect cyclists at all. But sometimes we will need to do some vehicular biking, which I'll also show how to do safely. So let's get on the bike and start moving. This right here is the path, or more like the way, that I used to take all the time riding this very bike to work. Back when I first came here, my first job was this restaurant called Bojangles. It was a crap job, $7.50 an hour, not worth it, but it was a job nonetheless. And the only reason I worked there is because this was the only place I could bike to. Now, don't think this is so easy. Back then, I had to go on that grass right there because there was no path here. But I see now they actually put something in this place, and it's nice to see that our area is kind of becoming a bit more pedestrian oriented. Now this hill I'm going up to right now used to have absolutely zero path, a bunch of trash on the sides of the road, and a bunch of overgrown grass. Now they kind of fixed it. And the thing is, I have to ride all the way down that little trail you can see actually right there until it connected to the old path. And only here, where you can see connection between two different paths, is where this highway would actually begin. It took them 2 years to figure this out. Driving down the section of the road, it's just so loud in here. All the traffic to the left of me. If some bozo decides to crash his car into the curb facing my direction, I am toast. But this is the way. Oh, the place I used to work at, Bojangles. They say they're hiring $15 an hour, with a little sign that says up to $15 an hour. You also get this death cross here too. This next section is also a bit high sketch, because you can see what's happening here. Pretty big bumps. It's hard to film and ride at the same time, but the worst part is just it's so unmaintained because nobody ever uses these sidewalks anymore. You can see how they're slowly growing in more and more and more. Now this right here is a death crossing, because this exit goes right on the highway. Now what I also realized is that it really pays to know the rules, the traffic rules, because that way you can look at traffic signs or stop signs or whatever, traffic lights, sorry, and you can kind of expect and guesstimate what people are gonna do. Of course, there's gonna be some idiots who don't follow these rules, making it more dangerous for themselves, for me, and for others. But if you know what they're gonna be doing in the next few seconds, you're pretty much safe. My chain seems to be skipping a little bit, so I'm gonna adjust the tensioner here. Very important to carry around even just a basic set of tools, because you never know what kind of roadside fix you'll need to do. Okay, now that's pretty ridiculous, okay? The sidewalk ended on the car wash, so I had to cut through some grass, through some rocks, through some dirt paths. I didn't go on the road, but did have to cut through some stuff. After that, there was just a tree line, some little strip of grass and road. And there's not even like a little dead zone on the sides where I can relatively safely squeeze into. So what I'm doing here, I'm just cutting through the suburbs. You gotta take advantage of what brings you down. Riding by Apex Middle School right now. Looks like a very nice area to have a school, right? All close to the housing, super quiet. And all those trees, man, they just... Oh, I would take riding this any day of the week instead of going on that road. All of those trees are just such a nice shade. And just like that, in about half an hour of chill biking, we have reached the downtown. Yeah, now talk about getting everywhere by car. I mean, this downtown, that's a very nice cozy street, and I can take advantage of it. Free water, free bathroom break, oh yeah. Now, I reference the map a lot while taking my bike rides. It is very important to find a nice way that I can follow, and preferably with sidewalk. From what it seems like, on the street there was almost 0 to no sidewalks, and I was gonna have to take the Apex Barbecue Road. So instead of going down the street, I decided I would just cut into some suburbs and see if I can use them as a labyrinth to get to where I need to be. Alright, so that's why my chain was coming off. There was an issue with this link, you see, it's kind of coming apart right there. We're gonna try to press it back in and make it all the way there. Alright, I think now the issue was fixed. We'll see how long it lasts, but yeah, I need a new chain. Actually, just went down that hill right behind me. And you know what? A pretty nice hill. It did have some bumps, but you know, to expected. Also, there's some housing right here. There's like a road over there. I cannot imagine walking out on the balcony and just, you know, seeing this and hearing all the traffic come by, especially in the mornings and in the rush hours too. And my favorite, sidewalk ends. And then we gotta proceed either through this grass or go on the road. Or we can use the suburbs to our advantage and take a shortcut. Actually, a very nice neighborhood named Sugarland the Run. Sounds like a Mario Kart map, but it is not. I think, oh my god, is that a minion? Is that a minion? What I'm looking for is that if I go down this road and then turn left, I should be able to cross the main road and cross Apex Peakway, which should put me on the right neighborhood to get to where I'm heading. Look at this super nice downhill I found here. I think if I go down that downhill, there should be a path to somehow cross into the other road. Let's see. Going pretty fast there. No hands, Mom! Private driveway, of course. And such a nice opportunity to go through the trail right there. But no, you can't do that, you know? You just can't do that. Okay, so yeah, this is private land, you can't go there. But if you're nice enough to the lady, she will let you in. And so she did, battling up the hill. And so here I am. She was nice enough to just open the gate, but she said there's like an opening there and people can go through. She just blocks it off so she doesn't want traffic or like a bunch of crowds of people coming through her property. But that's it really. This one link just keeps giving me trouble. Look at that. This is just fault of the equipment, really. I need to replace it with like a quick link or something, but I don't know if I have one. Alright, I took a few wrong turns, stopped for a bit of a water break, and now we're almost at Barbecue Road. I decided to stop at this really nice park here. Very nice, super cool. Dude, I need to leave this place. Okay, I think now I should be on my final way to that road. There's a slight climb here. I already had to climb so much. Next time, instead of using street view, I should also consider using terrain view. This is terrible. I hate the hills. But you know, it's all not so bad because the bike, it has gears. And that's what gears are used for. Climbing hills or going fast. Seriously, a super nice concept to grasp. Helps a whole ton. Would you look at that? My favorite. Sidewalk closed. Not for me. Come on. See? Hey! Low gear functionality right there. Oh, this is the best thing. And that's why I prefer mountain bike over a road bike. Oh yeah. Sidewalk closed. Close my ass. Look at that. That's actually so nice. It seems that it was built here very recent, because I don't remember it being here. That is actually so nice. And this terrible scary highway crossing, it's not as scary anymore because they put a barrier in here, and there's your sidewalk. Super nice. But again, I'm not saying that this is perfect, because I mean, look, it's all very, very scrappy, but hopefully in the future this will be a little bit nicer. Had to cross the road just now because sidewalk just randomly ended. I also just hate this lack of continuity. And yeah, it's not very nice when you just try to make your way and then the sidewalk just ends. Oh look, like for example right here. And I mean, where am I supposed to go next? Into the woods on the road? I guess road it is. Okay, and that means that now I have to go all the way along this back road until I hit the Evans Road, and the sidewalk just cut off over there, so let's see if I make it. Sidewalk spotted. That's okay. It wasn't too far of a ride, maybe like 3 minutes. I know this neighborhood is pretty walkable. Plenty of places to go. Probably because there's a park nearby, so to build some nicer trails and sidewalks just for people to be able to reach it. But it's still very, very nice to have sidewalks even on both sides. On this side, on that side there's one too. Just turned onto the so desired Evans Road. There's a sidewalk, pretty broad. It's nice. And I'm making my way to the farm right now. You can see the fields peeking through the trees. And I made it. The so desired Apex Nature Park. It took me about 10 miles with all the detours. For a car, it would have taken me around 3. Well, I'm talking like if I were to ride on the same way a car would. But I decided to play by my own rules and avoid the road as much as possible, so it took me around 10 miles. And I was like around like 2-hour ride, but that's also with me stopping to get some water, to get some rest, like, you know, just to chill out, to enjoy the moment, enjoy the place. So otherwise it wouldn't have taken me that long. Also, as you can see right there, I am about to get rained on, which was not really a part of my plan. I might just sit it through in some kind of a cover, or I'll need to bike home when it rains. We'll see what happens. This was not part of my plan, but at least it's refreshing. On the route back home, I decided to instead focus on the main road and try not avoiding it using the suburbs, and that really just made me come across terrible places like these, where there was no sidewalk at all whatsoever, no dead zone on the sides, and it was basically like a suicide run. Overall, I think I would rate this ride as a 4, maybe 5 out of 10, because in some places it was nice having a sidewalk, and some you really felt like a kamikaze. I ended up getting me a piece of pizza because I think I well deserved it, and it was pretty late in the evening that I was coming back. It actually was becoming pretty dark when I came home. But overall, I covered a distance of around 18.5 miles, which I think is pretty good for especially riding in the American suburb where everything is just so far away and it's impossible to get around. As you can hear, my voice is pretty raspy right now. I wasn't really feeling good when I started the run anyways. But here's me on the very last minutes. Now, on the latest note, say a debriefing, I am not surprised people here prefer using cars over walking or biking literally anywhere, even if it's like half a mile away. Because I pointed out 3 biggest issues with biking in a suburban area. Number 1, of course, as I've pointed out many times, is that there are no continuous sidewalks, and sometimes it just gets super ridiculous in the video. You can see how the sidewalks just cut off, and you have to go on the grass or on the road. I have got through so many gravel paths, through so many like destroyed pieces of grass, through so much dirt, just because the sidewalk ends randomly and there is no way around it. The second problem is a constant hazard with the traffic. Nothing feels more like a kamikaze mission when you're riding down the road with traffic passing you like 6 feet to your left. It's insanely sketchy, it's insanely dangerous, and of course many people they pass you, but there'll also be some that just don't, and it's gonna be your responsibility to keep yourself safe from a few tons of steel running at you at 45 miles an hour. And of course, as you've seen, even though there's some sidewalks in some areas, a lot of times they're running right beside a road with no separation in between, so you can hear all the noises and see all the people giving you a bird. Another big thing that I noticed that comes with mainly being a suburban area is insanely low density housing and infrastructure. Let me explain. Now, this is the town in Ukraine called Peromaisk. This is where I used to live with my grandparents. The town itself is about the same size as Apex and houses a bit more people, but not as much more because a lot of areas are also private housing. But unlike Apex, this town has its own well-defined town center. And it's not just one street or a few streets. It's one big area on the map where there's a lot more high-density housing and a lot more points of interest all coupled together in a nice little circle. Not to mention how there's sidewalks pretty much all around this town, despite being super old and pretty Soviet era. So instead of riding there for 10 miles, or 7 if you're in the car, it would only take me around 3-ish miles with all the detours, which there would not be many. I mean, hell, I would walk that distance in half an hour with my grandma, and she would be happy to take that walk. But in our town, you either go on the road or you go nowhere. And if you do want to take the safer path, you'll need to take a whole bunch of detours, which will increase the distance dramatically, with it already being super long too. My verdict is that bikes are a possible way to get around in a suburban setting, but you do need to be a kamikaze, you need to find other ways to get through places, sometimes you need to trespass. Overall, it comes with a hell ton of risk, so I cannot imagine people of, for example, middle age or like more elderly age ever biking in their life in this kind of environment. I gotta say, it is dangerous and it is very exhausting, especially when you found yourself a nice route and then you realize that you just can't go through there because some bozo decided to have a wrench and could not negotiate a sidewalk. Overall, this has been Anton, the Kamikaze Biker, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.